Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? It is Andy.
And Julie.
With Love, Julie, and Andy. How have you guys been?
Today we're talking about releasing relationship patterns that suck.
And we do mean not an energy drain, although that is part of it. We mean that suck. They are just bad. That's what we mean.
They don't serve you.
Right.
Well, they probably serve you in your process of growth, but if you're repeating them, they are not serving you if you're getting the same result. And they typically call that insanity when we try to do the same thing. So I'm going to give you an example. This is one thing that I think about, is obsessing about what the other person is doing. And I've done this a lot in the past, and Andy has as well, and it's very, typical of the codependent behavior, like very too invested in what the other person is doing without listening to our own inner self.
And can be exacerbated when the person that you're obsessing about has a habit of doing things that you know you don't like. Specifically with us, it was me drinking behind her back.
Yeah, and so all the things that ensued with that were me attaching my happiness and emotions to whatever he was doing. And it didn't work. It made me a panicky, crazy mess. It made me feel bad about myself. It made me not live my life. It made me feel like my life was contingent on his life and what he was doing in his life. And I eventually learned it didn't serve me. So
also, I was habitually lying to her, and she wanted to believe me, so she told herself that she was crazy. She told herself that she was imagining it again and again, and that was sort of pushing her towards the edge of losing it.
But so it doesn't even matter in what the behavior is. What it matters is that you are...
That's our cat.
investing too much of yourself into somebody else. And relationships are an amazing thing, but they have to be a give and take, but we have to also be solid in ourselves when we're in them.
And I want to take a moment to emphasize that behaviors that the other person is living may be positive ones. Maybe your partner is super great at doing something that you admire, and then you're sort of living through that person instead of being centered in yourself and proud of that person and happy for that person's success or what have you. But
you're looking at like as a deficit.
Well, yeah, you're using that to create your own happiness instead of being centered in yourself. You're so obsessed with the success of the other person that is what brings you happiness, and that can be a problem too. It's not just negative behaviors.
Yeah, so it can go both ways.
Right.
It's just a pattern that is not benefiting you and the way you feel, because we go into life and it's about how we want to feel in our lives. And if we're always focusing on the other person in our lives, then we're not going to be able to fully show up for ourselves. And we're not even going to really know. Like, I forgot who I was.
Right.
I completely forgot who I was. And I'm going to say this, and this may piss some people off, but like, it happens in all relationships. It happens with your kids. When you get too invested in your children, like, that's what happens. It happens with food. If you like are too obsessed with your relationship with food. Mm-hmm. Now, I was talking about, romantic relationships, but it's all related. And so what I would like people to do today is to just notice. Is there something that you have with your partner that you do constantly? So like Andy and I, we still have like this cleaning thing. Like, I'm not the clean one, he's the clean one. We are an odd relationship in that sense. And we still have to combat that and look at it in ourselves and in our patterns instead of the other person like kind of like fucking up what we were trying to do, right? Like, so I just don't care that much and he cares a lot. So it's finding that balance. Hi, Hannah. And learning what it is being triggered inside of us. And that is the key to this, is that when we are triggered, what is it in us? What are we looking for? What do we need in that moment that we are seeking? So for me, with Andy, when he was drinking, it would be like I was I was seeking attention. I was like, I wanted love, right? And I wanted things to be calm and safe and secure, and they weren't. But what I didn't know at the time was that I could provide that for myself. Jessica, hi. That I could provide that for myself in any situation. But it's a process of learning that we can do that on our own, especially when you've been with somebody for a really long time.
And it's difficult because you care about the person. Now, we keep talking about the romantic relationship, but as parents, we see that with our own kids too. You get so obsessed with, is my child happy? Does my child have friends? Is my child successful in sports or whatever it is that he likes to do? Is he doing well in school? Getting obsessed instead of letting that child lead his or her life and just being happy as my own. I am me. I am me. I happen to be a father. I happen to be a husband, but I am still me. I am finding the pleasures in life through my interaction with it. And then the benefits are the relationship that I have with my significant other and with my parents who are deceased, but many of us, our parents are alive, so that's another relationship. Friend relationships, they're all things that can distract us and let us forget to stay within.
Centered, yeah.
Right. These are all awesome benefits. We're social people. We
we
love
need connection.
relationships. Yeah. But we want to make sure they stay healthy. And the only way to stay healthy is when we have a good centered relationship. We know who we are and we're not living through another person.
Yeah. So the more that you can notice those patterns that you are engaging in, the better off you will be. And the more likely you will be able to feel good in all situations. And the way that you start to do that is to look at why am I engaging in this? What is it in me that I'm feeling like I need right now? And so that you can look at it from an entirely different perspective instead of, oh, he's using drugs, like that fucks up my whole life. Or he's working too many hours, that fucks up my whole life. Like looking at that person's actions and stuff and allowing them to have such a big impact on your life when really you're in control of that and you can define what it is you want it to look like.
Or I'm not majoring in what my parents wanted me to do, or I'm making a living at something that my parents didn't want me to do.
Right.
Or now I'm doing something different and all the friends who knew me as this can't quite accept me as that. These are all things that we have to accept for ourselves.
Comes like that people pleaser thing. We want everybody to like us. We want our partner to like us. And so today, just pay attention. Pay attention to those patterns. And if you're engaging in one that feels like, oh my God, I've had the same fucking argument 8 billion times, stop and look at it and be like, okay, what am I getting pissed off about? Why am I mad? What is it triggering in me? How does it really make me feel other than mad? Because anger is never like the true emotion. That's like the surface emotion. So you have to go a level deeper and take a look. And if you have a question about, if you're like, I have this behavior or this thing going on with my partner and I don't know exactly what's triggering in me, send us a message or comment below and we'll try to help you uncover what the true thing is. And that's how you release it. So have a wonderful day.
Fantastic day.
It's glad to be back. It's good to be back.
Yes, it is. It is. I'm glad to be here. So.
And Hannah says, "Don't live through another person." Yes.
Absolutely.
Repetitive madness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's
don't
not
forget
fun.
that also happens when you've got a famous person who doesn't even know you. The same thing can happen. You're like, wow, this person has this car and they married this person and this is how well they're doing in the movie or in baseball or whatever it is. You can have this like unhealthy relationship with an idol that doesn't even know you exist and you start to live through them. It can happen in a lot of different ways. And we don't want you to not love the people that you love, but just remember.
You have to go back to you.
Yes,
first.
exactly.
First and foremost.
Always.
Okay, so we're back. We're going to try to do one together once a week. It's funny because Andy had just walked in the door when I was about to do this by myself, and I was like, hey, want to do it with me? Perfect.
Yep.
Hi, Ludmila.
I said, can I have a minute? And she said no. So here we are. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.
Bye.